How's it going, YouTube? It's your resident Mistweaver, LB Ninja 7, and today I got a video of me doing a plus 20 spires. I know a lot of you have been wanting to see me do some more high level keys and kind of see how I heal. As you notice, we are coming into this key a bit late. I thought I hit record on that first, like when the key started, but apparently I did not. So yeah, so I am voicing over, so this is not like live commentary, but as you see, I'm just trying to pump as much damage as possible. So spinning crane kick when I can, when everyone's at full health, and then I'm only essence fonting before my ancient teachings buff falls off. That's that little white bar is the ancient teachings. I'm dispelling as soon as I can, and we're trying to keep the actual healing buttons at a minimum. I don't want to sit there and channel Essence Font during a whole pack because then I'm not doing enough damage. Okay, so we're already on the first boss, I know, because I kind of cut in late. But as you notice, here's my mindset during this fight. Do the explosives and stay behind the bird. That's it. That's basically it. As long as I keep Ancient Teachings up, I kind of don't even have to look at people's health bars as long as they do the mechanic right, which the only mechanic to this fight is stay behind the bird. You look for the tail of the bird and you stand on it. And then other than that, I am just keeping an eye on explosives because I want to basically, as a healer, yeah, you're a healer, but you're more of a support. And how I mean is like if you can do a mechanic for the DPS, like if you can do the mechanic for anyone in your key, that basically makes their job so much easier, and they can just sit there and focus their rotation. And yeah, we don't do the highest damage of all the healers, but we can enable our damage dealers to do more damage, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's kind of my mindset. Just stay behind the bird, and this fight is free. As you'll notice, I have the Sonya trinket on. It does a good bit of damage, and it was just, I believe it was just at 3 stacks. So I've used it twice before that time, and so we got 3 stacks of it. But it was only like single or double target, so it wasn't that much value. But as you see, this dungeon is very good for our cooldowns. I've basically not even used a single major cooldown this whole pool, because as long as I just do the mechanic, no one gets hit by the bolts, there's very little healing. And you can dispel once people get that little dot on you, like the Hunter and the Lock have now. But yeah, that fight is very simple as long as you just stay behind the bird. But the fights do get more difficult as this dungeon goes on. And we're kind of confused if we want to stay at the bottom of the stairs or if we want to come to this cheeky little corner. I know a lot of you have probably seen it. But I have maxed... my trinket is at 4 stacks here, I think. I could be wrong. Could be at 1. But I'm just waiting for the clear. Okay, we are rooting. We're stunning. My tank is taking a beating, so I'm going to pump into him a little bit. But I know I have my utility. So I use my stun there. Use my trinket, and we're just blasting damage. Look at that damage meter. 9.0, 9.1. Not bad. Still don't have to use a cooldown because the only one that really took damage was the tank. But here these hurls start to really chunk our DPS and myself. So yeah, so I got clapped there, but luckily I stayed alive. Shout out to armor kits. If we're gonna be pushing high keys, make sure you're using an armor kit because I would not have survived if I didn't have one. So yeah, we're just quickly refreshing our buff. I'm going to use ROP there because I know I'll need it for this next pool, so if I use it early this pool, it'll be up. And I kind of pin them into that wall. It's kind of like a mini interrupt. It's not too great, but it's just using our utility. We want if all of our utility buttons stay on cooldown the entire dungeon, that means that we've maximized them, you know? So it's just, if I didn't use it there, then it's like I would have wasted that time slot for using Ring of Peace. But now we're going to have it up for this next pool, and it'll be worth it. So this key, like I've said, it really lines up for our healing cooldowns. Now we're going to start using them. See, I know that we're going to have a big AoE pack, so I'm going to go ahead and Fallen Order so I can just spam spinning Crane Kick and not have to worry about the healing. And our damage is really showing. We just peaked at 12k, pretty good. Which a lot of people say Mistweavers don't do damage. Yeah, we don't do 40k like Survival Hunters, but we do a ton. We do pretty good damage, as long as you know how to utilize your cooldowns, your healing cooldowns, in order to enable your damage. You'll be totally fine. Yeah, so one big thing about this video that I wanted to showcase is there are meta picks. Like, obviously we have Survival Hunter, Ice or Frost Mage, and a Destruction Warlock. So yeah, they definitely went a little meta, but the warrior took me into this key, which he's a prot warrior and I'm Mistweaver, the two bottom of the barrel healer tank core classes. No one accepts us in the key, so I guess he just knows how it is. I applied to 42 plus 20s before getting accepted into this one. 42 declines, one accept. That's how rough it is being a Mistweaver. And I think I had 2985 IO, and I'm just applying to a plus 20 Spires. And I had time to plus 20 Fortified, and I had time to plus 19 Tyrannical. So it's just wild that no one accepts you in the keys, because the community perception is just so out of whack right now. And it's because they don't think we do enough damage. And it's like, we don't do as much as a shaman, sure, or a priest, sure, but the amount of utility that we do bring, as long as you have lust covered, we bring so much utility and so much healing that like everyone just feels so safe, and they can just sit there and pump without even having to like pop it offensive, because we do that much raw healing. Okay, so that pull I used Chi-Chi. I know that most of the damage is single target unless a fist gets off. So I just liked using that cooldown there, and then I wanted to have, I'm thinking 2 pulls ahead. I want Fallen Order to be up for the pull that normally people spear up here at the top of the stairs. So I know that I want to use it here. I think I use it here. Maybe I don't, because this pull does like no damage except for the dots. Okay, yeah, so I'm just thinking if I can really try to line up Fallen Order 2 pulls ahead, then we are chilling. This key is free, so we're going to heal the tank a bit, but just go back to our normal just DPS. When everyone's topped up or close to topped up, we spinning Crane Kick, and if not, we just do our single target DPS to try to get people from like 80 to 100%. Really trying to utilize ancient teachings to allow us to do damage and not have to press healing buttons. One of the strong things about Resto Shamans is, especially with their new tier set, they don't have to press like any healing buttons, because like they just, if everyone starts to get low, they just drop a couple totems and it sends out chain heals everywhere. So we can kind of use that play style without having to sit there and press Vivify. You know, we can just spinning Crane Kick. Okay, so I used Fallen Order here because I know I have Revival and Chi-Chi coming up, and I know Fallen Order should be up by the time we do.
Huh. That's something else. Guys, today's video is sponsored by the idea of the meta. I got declined 42 times before being accepted into this key because we don't do damage. Survival Hunters, however, are at the top of the meta because they do a lot of damage. Just start taking Mistweavers in your keys, guys. Come on. It's unreal. Look at that. That's big damage.
Do the second pack here. We got an explosive going off, but we have Fallen Order monks just rolling. They get so much healing off. That damage we do. Oh my god. Saying Mistweaver monk doesn't do damage. Jesus Christ. That was pretty nutty. Our Survival Hunter was just asleep there. Look, we outdamaged the Survival Hunter. Oh god. Okay, Warlock just took a clapping, but yeah, I mean, we're just doing that same damage rotation. You really want to try to squeeze in as many spinning crane kicks as possible. I know that the tank is fine. He's taken no damage because he has so much mitigation. One thing about Prot Warriors, they don't have much self-healing, but they have a ton of self-mitigation. So they can keep themselves from taking damage, but when damage gets through, that's when they start to struggle. And that's why Mistweaver monks are their best pairing. Like, we pair so well with them because they do the mitigation, we do the healing, and together we just become this super mega tank that just doesn't die. Now the problem is obviously Blood Death Knight is that tank alone, like that plus a ton of damage. He can just keep himself alive, but you know, together, I mean, we are kind of the key to unlocking Prot Warrior, and I think they're the key to unlocking us too. Other than just Blood Death Knight just being the skeleton key, if that makes sense. Yeah, just same old damage rotation. I really try to, if someone starts to take a little bit of damage, I try to assess it and see, can I keep doing my damage rotation, or should I stop to heal them? And so far it's been good. Our Prot Warrior pumping some good damage there. I mean, we're doing like 4.6k on just like a basic pack, so it's not bad at all. Here we're it's just these two ads, but I basically I spinning crane kicked at the beginning of the pool, or at least tagged the little dude, so that my Mystic Touch monk buff, you know, debuff is on him. But I'm basically single targeting strictly the squad leader. At 2 targets, our single target rotation does more damage than spinning crane kick. I think it starts to kind of tip into spinning crane kick territory once you get a 3rd target. So I know in my head I want to be doing my single target damaging abilities, but I want to stay on that squad leader because, one, his little passive is everything around him takes less damage. So, I mean, he will naturally take more damage than the other guy. But 2, he has more health, so I just want to, since we don't do much in the single target rotation, or in single target damage category, I just want to focus the biggest guy to kind of help his health bar stay at everyone else's level. As you see, everyone here is taking a lot of damage, even through Chi-Ji. So I just went ahead and revivaled, and that is a late spear, but everyone's stunned, everyone's topped up, so I am just spinning crane kicking and watching for explosives. The only way this pack really kills us is if 1 or 2 explosives goes off and I fall asleep and stop healing. These ads, all their big damage is over, but they're getting kind of low, so they're about to start bolstering. So I'm thinking in my head I'm going to leg sweep here. We don't need it for the boss fight, so it only makes sense to do it, but I am just focusing explosives and I'm getting ready to leg sweep, I think. I probably should have. It would have been free to do so. But no, we're just single targeting, pop Chi-Ji. So this boss, as you know, I'm coming into this boss without any major cooldowns. I just use Chi-Ji, Revival, and Fallen Order, and it's a Tyrannical week. So you're probably like, how are you going to do this? Well, this boss, just like the first boss, does like no damage. The person it dashes to, it applies a pretty nasty dot to, but that's single target healing. As long as we single target heal that one person, we'll totally be chilling. And as you see, like if no one else in the group is taking damage, Ancient Teachings is like the perfect way to just sit there and let that healing happen. So my eyes are on those black orbs. I'm just watching those black orbs, and that's all I'm doing. Is I'm keeping my target aimed at those black orbs so that I can watch them. I'm not even looking at health bars, because as long as everyone else does the mechanic, as long as they just dodge the black orbs, I don't have to do any healing here. I just have to sit here and stare at those and dodge when they come at me. So as you see, oh, I got hit by that one. But I thought I backstepped it right there. I remember thinking, like, how did that hit me? But yeah, we're just quickly refreshing our essence font and just watching those orbs, making sure no one gets hit. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was not even watching health bars, Because I know we have a lock. If someone gets hit like twice, then they die. But if someone gets hit once, one, that's on them. But at this level key, you should have a group that will not get hit. Our mage is playing it super risky up there. But yeah, the boss just dies now. Just once again, I'm kind of keeping my camera at a weird angle, just so that I can just stare at those orbs. The mage, not only was he just out there and got hit by an orb, I don't know what he's doing out there, but he also got the dot applied to him. So I just went ahead and like cocooned him. I'd rather be safe than sorry. I don't want to risk losing the mage to a tick of the dot. Here's this cute little trick. Once you kill the boss, you just wait for that Archon to fly, you jump and you click it. Or right click it, I guess. The mage said, my bad. I said, oh gee, homie. And I'm trying to keep the spirits high. Once one person starts BMing, everyone just gets in a pissy mood, so. He said just eating everything. Yeah, he was. He was just not doing the mechanic. He stood still and just did his damage the whole fight, and like, yeah, it shows in the meters, but like, man. Okay, so here we have this angel, and we're going for woe. Now, the plan was that I was gonna wait and just touch of death the woe relic to just ensure we get woe. But I believe what ends up happening is it was not an issue at all. We like my group was single targeting woe easy. So it was good. It was a good group. They did that. So I saved touch of death here. But I know I'm not going to need it on those angels, so I kind of want to put it on cooldown. Kind of like what I was saying earlier is you want your utility on cooldown, and touch of death is really a utility for Mistweaver. It's not like a damage thing like what it seems like. You can pick when things die. So here we want to kill the angel before we kill woe, because we want that woe buff to last for a long time. I'm telling them to dispel pets. But for some reason my woe buff fades there. I have no idea what happened. I could not tell you what happened there. My woe buff just falls off. So this guy, I'm telling him, watch, telling them to summon me, but this guy comes and tries to B-res me. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Come on. So one, I have no idea how woe fell off. If you see it, tell me down in the comments. I don't know. I don't have any pets. I'm not using the ooze pet or the ooze trinket. I'm using changeling and the Desanya. So I said Jesus because I was like, that was just like brain dead. Why would you use a B-res there in the first place? Like, we have Warlock Gate. Just go there and summon me. But then I say all G LOL, trying to, because I was like, I shouldn't have. That was kind of a little BM, or I could see how it could be BM. So yeah. Anyways, here I'm applying my hots. Before the pack, we are not going to do any damage. Yeah, like he's saying, until they're all there. That's just one way to just get one shot. Okay, so everything's here. I throw down my Desanya trinket, and I am just on explosives duty. I am doing the mechanic so that people can do the damage. Yeah. Alright. Pack easy. For those of you that don't know, you need 86%, or I'm sorry, 88% in order to go up and get all the percent you need. So here we're at 86 with this route, so we are just doing it. As you see, I Door of Shadows. I know that there's one of the soul binds for Venthyr that if you Door of Shadows, it disorients everyone, but I think it's Nadia. But I was like, let's try it, because, you know, I'm sitting there waiting to do damage anyways, so I was like, let's see. Okay, so this boss is one of the most messed up bosses. Okay, so I want you to notice, the tank is in front. Our job is to stay on the ass, okay? You stay behind this boss, because he stomps the tank and it hits AoE. You don't want to get hit by that. Now, also, you want to play at max range, because, like I said, that stomp is AoE. If I'm right there on his heels, like our hunter is right now, he is, like, in danger territory. He could easily be hit by the tank stomp. So I'm playing at max melee range here. And then as you notice, I'm sure you guys know to do this, but for Imperial Ordnance or Ethereal Ordnance, I don't know what the ability is called. This thing, Imperial? That's not how you spell Imperial. That ability, anyways. You stack up and you try to keep them all in a line. I'm sure you guys know this because, you know, once he recharges, once he goes to recharge his anima, the tank just basically stands and collects them all as they move toward him in a line. Yeah, but so we're just single targeting, but I'm really focusing on just not being hit by anything. And the person that does take that blast, they get a little dot applied to them. If that person's the only one taking damage, then I'll just heal through Ancient Teachings. But if someone else is taking damage, then I'll stop and you know, top them up through Soothing Mist and Enveloping Mist and with the defies. But for our tank, I know he does not take a lot of damage, so I kind of kept an eye on his health bar and did a little bit of damage because that's a good damage phase. But I just top him up if I see that he's starting to dip down and need it. And I had Life Cocoon at the ready just in case I was like way off and he took a lot of damage. Here we're going to try to move the boss the other way, so I try to stack in, but I see that some of our DPS were not ready for that. And we're a little out. You move that blast out and then get right back to the max range on his ass. And that's it. That's this fight. Basically, so far the fights are you stay behind the boss in this dungeon. Except for the second boss, you do stay behind him when he does the blast, but you really just gotta watch those orbs. That's all you have to do is just dodge those orbs. And then if you're a little under geared for the dungeon level you're doing, then that single target dot can kind of mess you up. But if say it hit my mage, I just Soothing Mist the mage, Enveloping Mist to get that healing buff on everyone, or on him at least, and then spam Vivify to top him up. That's just how we single target pump heal. But as you see, our damage isn't too bad for the single target fight. We're trying to limit the amount of times that we press Enveloping Mist and we channel Essence Font. As you see, I'm starting to get a little bit low, but I know I have Rising Sun Kick to top me up. But unfortunately, the Rising Sun Kick actually went to our tank, so I do have to sit there and single target pump into myself. So as we near the end of this dungeon, we have like 14.5 minutes, which is great time. Very good time for this dungeon. Which really kind of opened up our options. Usually if you're doing this key, especially on a tyrannical week, you kind of start to wonder, should we pull multiple of the Archons at a time? And I think a little discussion happens whether we should do that or not, but I basically just say, y'all, we have so much time. Okay, yeah, so our tank is saying, okay, our Hunter's complaining about his damage, which I know it is proc-based. He said, we'll do one at a time, and I'm just glad he said that, because the easiest way to mess up a key is to try to get too fancy. I notice like so many times, and I know you guys go through this too, you'll get into a key and you're really hoping you time it, and literally like the first pull, people will just mess up. And it happens a lot in like keys like Halls of Atonement. People are like, we're pulling to the left, when like no one really knows how to do that pull, like in your key. It's like, why don't we just do the normal shit? Just go to the right, we'll time it with a couple minutes left. Like, I don't see why are we trying to do all these fancy tricks? But yeah, here we pull the easiest Archon first, and then we're gonna go left and pull the most annoying one. But the other one, the one on our right now, just does a nasty debuff to everyone, and it can rack up. So here I'm keeping my eye on explosives. I would like to get them, but the problem is this guy does a frontal. That diminuendo, it hits in a frontal. So we're hitting every explosive that we can, but we really want to stay out of his frontal cone. And that's literally that Archon. He's so easy. Okay, so this one though, this one is very tricky because the lines are kind of hard to predict. So for this first one, I'm kind of just watching the bottom left corner and gonna see if I can quickly dodge that first one, because the first one's easy to dodge, and yeah, we step ahead of it. But then once 2 spears come out, you kind of have to find a safe spot. And I see that I'm barely dodging that one, and then I can, that line, if you draw a line from where that one just shot out, I plan on just sliding up and down that line, and you see I kind of slid down it toward the spear to dodge that second one. But yeah, we're basically hugging that one line. Ooh, I almost walked into it, but we're hugging that line and then sliding up it. And then we just want to move as far away from the spears as possible. Because if you think about it, like, if you draw an X, the closer you get to the tips of that X, the more space there is in between it. So you just want to give yourself as much space to dodge. So here we have all 3 Archon buffs, like you guys know. We're going to go ahead and spear it. So I know I'm just going to pump single target. I really would like to hold my healing abilities, but I know that I'll probably have to use one because the dot does rack up quite a bit. But it is tyrannical, so it doesn't do as much damage as it can. On 4 to 5 weeks, this dot does do quite a bit. Yeah, just doing our single target, letting Ancient Teaching do the healing while we do some damage. And we're really just watching those lines. I don't want to get hit by a line. Okay, I see that out of the corner of my eye that he got clapped. I assess really quick if I need the life cocoon, and I don't think so, but yeah, so we used Fallen Order, and I just used Revival. It's starting to get a little hairy, and I know that this next boss, just like every other boss in the dungeon, as long as everyone just does the mechanics, there is no damage coming out. Except for the intermission, that dot can kind of ramp up a bit. But like, as you see, just as long as you dodge his little, I don't know what it's called, but the charge, the run through, as long as you dodge that, which our lock didn't, then you basically just have to heal the tank. Oh, okay, here I kind of threw. I did not see the and as you hear in my commentary, I didn't even see it then. And that little death from me is just too much to bounce back from. So I alone caused a wipe on the last boss, which is Troll. I hate that happened, but I straight up caused that wipe. But I tell them, y'all, I just did not see the smash inside that blue circle. And the tank even says, like, watch the slam, that's my bad, because he knows he pulled into it, which, as a tank, it's kind of weird. It's kind of like a season 9.2 thing. Like, keep the, like, I know, especially in, like, if you think about Necrotic Wake, the third boss there, the third boss, you kind of have to move out of the hook, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like this boss, you do want to move out of that circle just so that doesn't happen, but also it is personal accountability, and I straight up could have just been looking for the thing. I was just watching health bars, because that blue circle, when that pops, like when she does big damage, you have to go into the blue circle. That is kind of like the other thing you have to heal, because it chunks everyone. I'm really trying to get my food buff, but as you see, if you were watching, it was like milliseconds away from getting it, but the relics kind of pulse out to keep you from, or to put you in combat. But so here, I'm doing things differently. I've learned from my mistake. I am just like I've been playing behind every boss, I am playing behind and I am keeping my eye on him, and I'm also single targeting him. I want him to die early this phase, because I know that, you know, this phase obviously ends, and we have very limited amount of time to damage the boss. So I want to just make sure that we have the buff during this phase. So I have Fallen Order rolling, so I know not to really sit there and do damage, but to do healing. I'm single targeting, just to just use Ancient Teachings to top everyone up. So we dispel one person ASAP that gets that buff, and then we're just gonna do a little bit of single target healing to that other person. Dispel them once the phase starts. And then here, we just try to grab an orb, but all of them are taken. So we go to this one. So as you know, you get this little stacking debuff here. And then if you walk over one of the black puddles, it applies another dot to you. So I'm dispelling people on cooldown while also just healing the people that get the most stacks. And that phase is just we're chilling. I could have revivaled, but I chose against it. So one thing here, as you notice, I just used Chi-Ji. And like I said, the only part that you really have to heal is that intermission. So you're probably like, why don't you use Chi-Ji in the intermission? Well, obviously it's because I can't really use Chi-Ji during the intermission because you have to punch and kick the boss in order to actually get value out of Chi-Ji. And you can't do that during the intermission. So that's why I just went ahead and used it here. And I know that my other abilities are off cooldown. I'm trying to save Revival. I want to use Fallen Order before Revival here. Yeah, like I just did. And I'll explain that once we get a little further. One thing is, obviously, Revival is our panic button. It doesn't do a ton of healing in Mythic Plus. So it's not like you save it for a clutch heal. You more so want to just save it as your last line, if that makes sense. Because it is instant healing. So it is kind of clutch, but it basically mass dispels is its main use. So here I want to make sure everyone's topped up before this big pop comes, and I save my Rising Sun Kick for right after it, so to at least fully top one person up in an instant. We're just getting our hots applied before this phase to kind of counter the dot that comes out. Then we're just going to run orbs and watch everyone's health bars. I'm dispelling on cooldown. We're not getting that many stacks, but I'm pretty sure I just go ahead. Oh, I'm thinking, do I need a revival? Because revival will clear all the stacks and top everyone up. I don't even know if I do it. I do it. Okay, so I know that there's no more damage left in the fight that's going to come at us. So I just go in revival, get those stacks off. Let's start this phase full health so I can just pump damage. But yeah, revival is a great ability for that intermission. If you're in a tough key, say that I was item level 265 here, that dot would ramp up a lot more. So yeah, that's just a good thing to do, is try to save revival for when it's best, and it would be during a mass dispel time. But yeah, so come to the end of the fight, and yeah, that is the end of the key. I think I got I'm 10 IO away from 3,000 now, so 2990. I say, dude, this key went very smoothly. Other than my wipe at the very end, dude, this group was insane. A lot of damage from our DPS, especially that mage. That mage pumped. But our tank, I was so excited about this tank, dude. ProtWarr is slept on, and so is Mistweaver, and it is great to see them both come together and do a ton. Great key. So me and this warrior are just hyping each other up. He said, I told him to go sub to my YouTube. He said, I felt so healed that entire time. He said something like, Mistweaver is really good. And I was like, yeah, dude. And I said, I felt so protected the entire time. Talking about him, and everyone's like, LOL, have a good night, boys. I'm getting out of here. Get a room, you two. So I add him. I add the mage. I have plenty of survival hunters on my friends list already, but I don't have many frost mages. And even when frost mages aren't top damage, they just do so much utility. That slow is really nice. So as you see, I am not going to report him. I add him to a friend group, and this is an add-on. It's just called friend groups, and I put him in my mythic tank, mythic plus tanks group. Yeah, so that was the key, dude. ProtWarr Mistweaver is so good, and as you see, we ended with 4K overall healing, or I'm sorry, DPS, which is a good bit. It's about a good amount for a Mistweaver. It could be better, it could be worse. So I'm happy with it. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cut. I know I filmed the next video, so let me go ahead and cut to that. All right, sorry about that. For you guys, it was an instant, but for me, it was about a minute. So yeah, I forgot to go over the breakdown in the video. So Ancient Teaching did most of our healing. We did 5.9k, which is, you're probably thinking, but I do 11k in my things, and it's because I really tried to minimize the healing I had to do to maximize damage. But as you notice, Fallen Order Monk did good healing, but not nearly as much as it used to. So I really relied on Ancient Teachings. And our single target healing didn't do much because we tried not to press it. But just, Rising Sun Kick did most of our damage, which isn't too good. You normally want Spinning Crane Kick to do more. That means that I probably did too much healing this key. But yeah, so that Disintegration Halo did 15.8% of our damage. So yeah, that's our damage healing breakdown. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If there's anything you want to see in the future, just let me know, and I'll try to make it happen. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Hit subscribe. It takes a second to do, but it adds a giant smile to my face, and it really helps me out. So more than you guys can know. It's one subscribe means a ton. And hit like, and let me know down in the comments what you think, and hopefully I can hit 3K IO soon for you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.